Suddenly he starts running inside thinking this might be a scammer. He reaches the bathroom door and opens it strongly with a serious face, but a short pink girl is in front of him, wiping herself out. The girl gets shocked and all red. Wakana doesn't know how to react. She gets angry and comes at him, but her leg slips, hanging in the air with a towel covering her. She hardly hits the ground trying to gather herself from the pain, but her legs were in the direction of Wakana's face, unable to process the sudden events in front of him. Our story begins with a little kid standing in front of a table. Unlike other boys, since he was a child he was always obsessed with pretty dolls that his grandpa made. Even his definition of prettiness has been shaped to fit with the only thing that he loves. He tried hard since then to train with his grandpa to be able to make this wonderful doll princess he admires. But this obsession had a bad impact on his social life. Even his close friend was mad at him because he's into girls kinds of stuff. This is disgusting, so she cut connections with him. This was the moment he knew the world won't accept him the way he is. Waking to his alarm, Wakana Gojo stretches his arms, and with a nerd look on his face, he starts his day greeting his princess doll, "You still beautiful as ever." Going downstairs, he greets his grandpa and prays for his mom, dad, and grandma's souls. While getting the breakfast ready, his grandpa asked him why you stay up late last night. He says, "Sorry, I couldn't stop my hand from painting. I did many of them, but I still can't get them perfect like you, Gramps." His grandpa replies, "It takes time. You are good at making the custom clothes part. By the way, do you have any friends at school? I became so worried about you recently." Wakana gets shocked by the questions and tries to keep a straight face to make a lie. "It's all okay. It's just my friends' schedules are busy with club activities and we barely meet." He says goodbye while leaving for school, using the highways till reaches the school road, saying to himself, "Sorry grandpa, I didn't make a single friend, even in high school." With all his classmates chatting around him, he realized that no one shares similar interests to his. It would be so embarrassing if someone somehow got to know about his obsession with dolls. While he is drowning in the loneliness feeling, suddenly a girl's voice came to his ears. He turns around to see one of his classmates flying towards him. She hits her head with the table, which hurts a lot, and the whole class is looking in the noise direction. She stands up, turns around, and apologizes, but she notices some black paint on Wakana's hand. She gets closer to check, asking if it's a cut, but the touch on her hand doesn't feel like a cut. Wakana was frozen in his place from the touch, but without realizing his eyes were first looking at the place that most men look at usually. He feels more nervous when he looks her in the eyes and pulls his hand, suddenly saying it's fine, nothing serious. She feels awkward and apologies for the trouble while leaving for her table. Wakana Gojo, still nervous from looking in her eyes, looks at her while walking, but her skirt flips up a little for a second, revealing a thing he shouldn't see. Thinking to himself how an amazing type of girl she is, she lives in a whole different world than him. Marin Kitagawa chats with her friend while they ask her about the dude that approached them yesterday, trying to stand a funny talk, but Marin brutally turned him down, saying, "The only lame thing here is you."
Damn!
Marin Kitagawa replies that she hates whoever makes fun of the things other people like. He's an asshole. Wakana was listening to the girls talk while saying to himself, "It feels good to live in the world accepted for who you are, like her. The opposite of me." Before school ends, Wakana's classmates ask him to handle the cleaning duty instead of them today, as they know he couldn't say no, trying to get done with it fast so he can get to make the custom dress for his doll today. The door opens up and sees Marin coming, wondering if she forgot something, but she starts helping with the cleaning. He asks her what she's doing. She replies, "Isn't it obvious? I'm on cleaning duty today as well." Noticing that the class is empty, she realizes something and asks him if the other classmates are taking advantage of him or what. He hesitates for a while and says, "Kinda, I don't anything else to do anyway." She gets mad at him and warns him that they are using him and he should stand and speak for himself. Wakana stays silent for a while, but Marin leaves class after she's done. After a couple of days at night, Wakana grandpa rushes to check on him and finds out that Wakana cut his finger while attempting to finish the custom dress for the doll. He warns him to get more careful. Wakana replies that the sewing machine is broken. In bed, Wakana still thinks about what his classmates told him a while ago, wondering what's really the truth. Next day, after school is almost over, at the sewing practice, Wakana is working on the school auto sewing machine and can't be helped wondering how much easy and fast it is. He grabs his doll and tells it, "No one comes here after school is over. I can finish your outfit today, darling." But the door opens suddenly, and it's his classmate from last time. Trying to cover it, the doll slid from his hands, and Wakana made a reaction to catch it, but he was totally busted now, saying to himself, "It's over now." She found out about his weird obsession. His life is fucked up. But suddenly Marin's face lights up saying, "That's so awesome. Gojo-kun, you know how to use a sewing machine." Feeling a little awkward, Wakana replies, "Yes, my family runs a doll shop." Marin asks him to check the princess doll in his hands, and when she gets closer says, "Look at this pretty, isn't it beautiful?" Wakana is watching the reaction on her face. He feels a warm feeling. That's the first time someone complimented something he loves. Marin asks him, "Do you know how to make clothes?" She stands up and starts taking off her clothes suddenly piece by piece. Wakana is frozen in his place, doesn't know what's happening. She asks him to look to the other side. He flips suddenly saying yes, feeling more nervous about what she's doing out of sudden. When she asks him to look back, he peeks slowly to find her dressed in a strange black costume. She says, "It's not complete yet," and shows him a pic of what she was trying to achieve. Suddenly Wakana nerdness takes over him and starts pointing out the mistakes in the custom, there, and there. Even a starter can't suck this much. But finally, he noticed the look on Marin's face. Seeing the tears almost coming out, he bent down and starts apologizing for going far. No, it's okay, just look up," she said, and starts moving towards the window, saying, "I made this custom to be able to cosplay, but I can't take it to the shape I need." She suddenly flips and the move flips up her clothes, and with a loud voice she says, "It's about my obsession with anime characters that I love much. Are you listening, Gojo-kun?" Obviously he was listening carefully. She comes closer to him, bends down, and catches him with both hands. "Can you please help with making cosplay custom? I made several attempts to learn and do everything by myself, but I failed cause I don't know anyone who's good at sewing. If you don't feel like so, it's okay, just tell me." After deep thinking, Wakana pulls her hands back. She got the answer and feels sad, but suddenly Wakana says, "I got it. I will make you the cosplay you love." Marin stands silent for a while processing, and suddenly starts jumping everywhere from happiness. "Finally, I can be my dear Shizuku-kun." She puts a hand to wipe her tear of happiness and keeps talking about the character and how cute she is. She really can't help being obsessed with it. But Wakana suddenly raises a hand and says, "I have a question, can I? Isn't this a game meant for a mature audience? How did you get it? Aren't you a girl?" Marin starts playing dumb face like she heard nothing and keeps talking. He feels like there is no hope of getting an answer from her. Besides, does being a boy or a girl matter when you really like something? Marin said. Wakana remembers his childhood friend that abandoned him. He jumps suddenly with all his energy saying, "No it doesn't, let's get started." Marin pulls out a book, The Beginner Guide for Making Cosplay Outfits. Wakana checks the books and gets amazed by how detailed and easy it is, but they freeze for a little while, and suddenly have the same idea. How the hell she couldn't do it if she had a crystal clear guide like this. Marin saying to herself, that's what he's thinking right now. After a while, Marin puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Thanks, Gojo-kun." At the night at Wakana's place, his grandpa tells him to close the store tomorrow, "Cause I'm gonna buy a new sewing machine." He says okay, and gets back to recapping today's events in his mind. A lot happened today. In the morning, Wakana opens the shop door to whoever is ringing the bell saying, "Sorry, we are closed." But he gets surprised to see Marin standing in front of him saying, "I'm here, let's start." He froze for a little, but Marin asks to come inside, gives him a cheesecake as a present, and lets herself in. She finds out his room, and lets herself relaxes around checking his painting tools for the dolls. Wakana in the back frozen in his place. He got to realize something for the first time in his life. The thing that made his heart beat crazy, the weak point for all men, in front of him. He tries hard to chill and control himself, till he opens Marin standing in front of him, saying, "Let's hurry up and do it." He gets nervous and tries to tell her about that thing he found in the book about taking measurements part. She replies, "Don't worry, I came prepared. I'm wearing my swimsuit."
That's quite big. Impressive.
Wakana gets nervous and doesn't know what to do, so he covered his face with the chest cake pack. After Marin is done, she gets closer to him, asking, "Are you okay?" He screams, "Don't touch me right now, please. It's too dangerous." After a while, Wakana gets calmer and tries to gather some brave. He gets closer and starts taking measurements. He fails at first, but he slaps himself to get rid of his nervousness. Now he's totally ready and starts doing his work perfectly. But Marin keeps teasing him from time to time and enjoys his reactions. After a while, when he was taking the leg height measurement, without realizing he touched a sensitive area that got a reaction from Marin. When he looks up wondering what's wrong, he sees her face is red, so he thinks it's the temperature. He apologizes and then goes to get the AC turned on. While he's gone, Marin gets a shy look and tries to calm herself down after what happened. After a while, they are finally done, and Wakana asks Marin for a reference about that game, so can have a better idea of the costume he's gonna make. She happily gives him the parts of the game and says, "You gonna enjoy it." Later that day at night, we hear Grandpa saying, "I'm back, I got the new sewing machine." But he suddenly hears a weird girl noise coming. He finds Wakana in front of the game and says to himself, "I know he's at this age, but why on earth does he have this serious look on his face?" Taking notes as well. In a non-background scene, we see Marin wearing the cosplay costume, checking its details, saying, "You really did it. It's so amazing." Wakana replies, "It took much effort, but hope that the size fits this." Suddenly he hears a weird noise from Marin. "Sorry Gojo-kun, but when I cosplay the characters take over me." She puts a hand on her mouth saying, "My master will be good girl, watch me obeying you." She slowly touches her custom and starts moving some parts. Wakana is frozen in his position and can't move a finger. Suddenly he freaks out from sleeping, stops for a while. What a hell of a dream is this? He remembers something and looks under the blanket. He finds the situation is bad down there. He suddenly looks to his side. He finds the doll's eyes owe him. He feels ashamed of himself. At school, Wakana walks into the school lobby, sees Marin coming from afar, greeting all the classmates on her way. Girls beside him are talking about cool Marin is. She's really like a star. He tries to sneak. How could I face her after what I did this morning? Suddenly he hears Marin jumping, calling his name. Once she gets closer to him, he remembers his dream, and his face gets red. All of Marin's friends start gathering around him. He feels like he's surrounded. One of the girls thinks he's bothered, but Marin gets closer to him and her around his back, saying, "He's not bothered at all, right Gojo-kun?" With a soft touch on the hand, he says, "Yes sir." The girls leave while saying goodbyes to Wakana, who felt a little relieved that Marin is treating him the same way even at school, with such a pure heart. But he hears girls talking behind his back. Is she dating this weird guy or something? No, that's impossible. And yeah, these words got into his heart. Later at the classroom, Marin comes sliding with an excited face towards Wakana, but he stands apologizing he had something to do, then leaves in a hurry. Another time at the class, once Marin calls him, he runs away like he heard nothing. And again, every time Marin tries to make contact with him, we see her in the class in front of his table, standing alone with a sad look on her face. Later at the school shoe cabinet, she calls him and asks, "Let's go shopping for the stuff we need to make the custom, like right now." Wakana notices the look of other students around them, and apologizes again and starts running, leaving her no chance. Outside, at the school fence, we see him hiding, thinking, and he pulls back saying, "I'm sorry, Kitagawa-san." Suddenly he hears Marin's voice coming from his side saying, "If you're gonna apologize, don't run the first place." He gets shocked, saying, "What are you doing here?" She stands up and tells him, "Why have you been ignoring me? If you have a problem with me, out with it." He relaxes a little and replies that he was afraid of the rumors and people talking about her with him. She gets closer to him. "We are friends who care about it. Then shall we go out then?" With a shiny face she pulls his arm and start running with him. "Where are you going? Let's shop for the stuff we need right now." At the mall, we see the two friends standing in front of the cosplay section, and Wakana pulls out a paper with a detailed drawing of each part of the costume. This only got Marin to be shocked at how amazing it's detailed. He finds the stuff's price is higher than expected, but Marin pulls out a pack of money saying, "Don't worry, Mama went to the bank today." Wakana tries to reject this, but Marin insists on him, saying it's okay. It's from her part-time job. The two friends take a look everywhere till they are done. The next step is to get a wig, then the garters and stockings. Wakana gets shy from the look in front of him, but Marin asks him to hold the stuff while she tries the size of the stockings. He stands there out with red cheeks while Marin enjoys teasing him. She gets out suddenly saying, "Look, do you think they fit?" He pulls the cover close again saying, "Please stop and stay inside." But Marin comes out again saying, "I figured out that I should reward you for today. Should we do something interesting right now?" Wakana gets what she meant and says loudly, "Stop teasing me please." They had dinner at the ramen store, and they leave back home while chatting about the game. One of the watching them saying to herself, "A high school couple, it must be nice, rather than me, who's stuck at work." Marin asks him how far did he progress. He says, "Not much. I stopped at the part where he was doing it with his hand in the morning assemble in front of the class."
What?
But Marin says, "I was panicked at first. He didn't stop at all." All the people looking at them with the same expression on their faces. High schoolers these days are terrifying. On their way, she tells him she is very excited for it, and one of the events is coming closer. Wakana didn't get what she meant, but she explained the details to him. And then she shows him some pictures of cosplayers and of course her favorite, Juju-san, with all her perfect cosplays. She's really gorgeous, and some of the other cosplayers as well. Suddenly she asks Wakana, "Why aren't silent? Don't you think they are beautiful as well?" "Sorry Kitaga-san. This might be annoying, but it's me. Since my childhood, the first time I got to Grandpa's house, I saw a princess doll for the first time. I couldn't get my eyes away from it. I felt like it stole my heart. I couldn't believe that something really this beautiful existed in the world. So, since then I can't say the word pretty or beautiful unless I really feel it from my heart." Marin was listening carefully and then says, "I didn't know that you are the face-only type of person." No, it's not like this." She starts laughing after saying, "I know, I just can't help teasing you." In front of the train station, Wakana asks her about the next cosplay event. She replies it's within 2 weeks, but she looks at her watch and starts running suddenly saying, "I'm late for the train, later than Gojo-kun." While taking his train, Wakana started to get depressed. Thinking that 2 weeks isn't enough, it takes him time to make a doll custom. But he loses it, and starts moving his hips in a weird way he caught from that game. At Wakana's home, Grandpa was worried about him. He apologized and says he was shopping with a friend. "Really, what did you buy? Maybe so books, a CD or..." But suddenly the pack slides in front of him and reveals what's inside. The lovely leg stockings that got the Grandpa's mind frozen, unable to process it. Suddenly he falls back and hurts his back badly. At the hospital, Wakana's cousin comes to pick up their grandpa. The doctor tells them he needs 2 weeks of rest, so he's gonna spend it at his uncle's house. But Grandpa suddenly says, "Wakana, bring me my brushes." Wakana's got surprised. How far his grandpa is going far to keep his hand skills. At the school, Marin got to know why Wakana was absent yesterday, and she noticed the look on his face. She gets closer and tries to comfy him, but nothing changes. Then she says, "If there is something I can do, let me know. Believe it or not, I can cook and do this kind of stuff." He looks slowly amazed by her attempts. Marin stands and asks for his contact info to be able to reach him if something happened. He finally reacts to it. In the school loopy, Marin can see he's still thinking deeply about something. But they got to see the midterm exam is next week. The thing that adds more depression to Wakana cause he totally forgot about it. Suddenly he hears Marin calling his name. "Is everything okay?" He looks at her and says, "It's okay, just thinking about something." Later before sunset, he gets a call for a visit reservation for tomorrow. He tried to cancel it, but it's a foreigner that's obsessed with Japanese dolls. As a person who knows how that feels, he couldn't bring himself to do so. He falls down slowly saying to himself, "I don't know what to do, I'm in trouble." The days passes, and Wakana didn't cancel any of the promises he made. He splits his time between different things, and at night he cut from his sleep time to work on the custom. On the last day of exams, Marin stretches her arms saying, "Finally, it's over," and she looks back, but she finds Wakana still the same as the day she left him. Tries to talk to him, but he suddenly rushes outside the class, leaving her and her friend wondering. At night we see Marin holding her phone. She texted Wakana but he didn't reply. She tries to check if he's inside but there is no sign of it. She walks back again with the spicy food pack in her hand saying to herself, "I guess I'm gonna eat this alone again." Inside the house, we see Wakans opening his eyes, laying on his back, feeling so sick. Can't focus on anything. Seeing the custom dress, he starts talking to himself and doubts his abilities. Baby, loving something doesn't mean you're gonna be good at it. I guess there is no guarantee for this that your hard work will pay off. While thinking deeply on this, and the tears almost coming out, she was excited about it. Why I'm such a failure. He remembers in his childhood, when asked his grandpa why he didn't get tired of doing the dolls every day, isn't it hard? His grandpa laughs then say, it's pretty hard, but look at the results. The smiles on the people's faces. This reaction is the motivation that keeps me going. He stops his tears and stands up and start working again on the thing he wanna make to draw a smile on his first customer's face, which changed the way he thinks about life. Working and working all night. With the sunrise, a page falls to the ground and Marin stands frozen. No way. Stays silent for a while and Wakana comes saying, sorry I was almost late, but I managed to make it in time for your event. She looks at him slowly and with a shocked expression on her face. Gojo-kun, did you think I wanted to attend today's event? Wakana falls to the ground from the shock and says, thank God, really thank God. He opens his eyes to see Marin's tears coming down. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what you have been through because of me. Every time I came to study with you and I find you aren't home. I thought you were just with your grandpa. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Why don't you try it out? Now it's the perfect time. Finally, she stops crying and pays attention. Wakana's hand is skilled in this kind of stuff, so helps her with her hair, makeup, and other stuff she needs before getting dressed. And finally, he closes the door and stays outside, and she starts getting her clothes off and starts dressing the custom piece by piece. Later she tells him to come in. When he opens the door and looks in front of him, he froze for a while. He can't believe what he's seeing in front of him, like it stole his own heart, and can't look away. Marin asks him, do I look like Shizuku-tan? He replies loudly, yes, you're the perfect Shizuku ever. An amazing shiny smile appears on Marin. Right, I know, right? You are so amazing, Gojo-kun. She suddenly starts checking the details. The skirt is the perfect length, and with a little peek in the garters, it's totally perfect. She holds her chest out saying, look, you got the boobs pegged the perfect size as well. You are like a pro. She starts posing and taking pictures, then uploads them to a new cosplay account. I have an idea. Why don't we go to the event? I'm so excited. At the event, tons of cosplayers everywhere, taking poses in front of cameras. Marin is so excited and can't hold herself, but Wakana on the other hand is nervous. There are a lot of girls around, and he feels like everyone is looking at them. Marin tells him maybe it's because of how good the cosplay he made is, and suggests going up to the plaza stage, less people's eyes around. Once they are up, someone comes saying, pardon me, isn't this Shizuko-tan from Slappy Girls too? Can I take shots of you? Hold on, I saw this dude somewhere, but I don't know where. Marin agrees and starts taking perfect poses that fit with her character choice. It didn't take time till others came to ask as well. Wakana takes a quick look around. He sees that there are girls that are cosplaying boys' characters. They only do the character they love. That feels nice to be here. It didn't take time for Marin to have a queue waiting for her as well. While Wakana watching her with warm feelings, he suddenly realizes, is this gonna end today? I don't have many friends, but have someone to go out with, shopping, have meals with, and spend our time off together. This really something new to me. I guess the happy moments don't last long. Suddenly Marin looks in his direction, smiling at him with her pure heart. It really got deep into Wakana's heart this time. She comes to him and says, I guess using new bras was a bad idea. My chest is about to explode. Inside a building, on the stars, we see Marin finally get to drink something refreshing and wipe out the sweat from her face in front. Wakana was watching her. He says to himself, these new bras are really strong. This isn't enough. She's still feeling hot and needs someone to unzip her back and wipe the sweat. Wakana's refused, feeling shy, but with a look on her back, he knew it was so bad for her. He slowly starts unzipping her, not to hurt her. Suddenly Marin makes a weird, then says, oh crap, that's much cooler like this. Behind her, we can see Wakana all red from that weird reaction she made. She gives him the towel and asks him to wipe the sweat for her. He agrees fastly, still trying to control himself. He slowly helps her till she's finally feeling all good. They go back to the stage again to apologize to the lady that was taking photos with her, cause she got dizzy all of a sudden and wanted to give her the shots she needs. Suddenly the wind blows Marin's skirt, which reveals what's under it. The lady is all frozen with a shy face, but taking pictures non-stop. She freaks out and offers to delete that. But Marin was only caring about that she wasn't looking at the camera. They take the train on their way back home, and Marin exactly can't stop talking about how amazing this was for her. Finally, she got to achieve something she loves much. Wakana looked at her and he had something to say. Thanks a lot, Thaw's a new experience to have, and much for me. He couldn't say the next line, but Marin replies, why do you look so happy all of a sudden, or am I imagining it? What do you think we should do for the next cosplay? Wakana realizes that this isn't gonna be the time and feels warm inside. He's trying to resist sleeping while looking in Marin's face and recalling her look in the cosplay. While she was chatting with him, he suddenly say, Hayatagwa-san, you are very beautiful. And he falls asleep. The silence takes over Marin suddenly. She recalls what he said back then about the words pretty or beautiful, and he can't say it this easily cause it means much to him until he can really feel it from his heart. The camera moves slowly up till it reveals Marin's face, so shy and red, frozen in her position with her eyes wide open. After a while, they reach home. Wakana holds the beginner guide for cosplaying book and Marin was listening carefully to each step. But when she looks at Wakana's face, she gets a sudden warm feeling, wondering what's going on with her, and she tries again to focus, but Wakana's smile gets her face red again. Wakana's grand is coming back home with Wakana's cousin beside him saying, so, that's what happened. It's normal for boys at this age to have a couple of these stockings. Don't worry, that's totally normal. He enters from the front door and Wakana goes to welcome him, but with a dress in his hand, and suddenly Marin gets out welcoming the grandpa as well. He almost got a heart attack, falling back again and screaming. In the next scene, Wakana is taking care of his grandpa back. Sorry for raising my voice, Marin-chan. It's totally okay. He looks in Wakana's direction, but Wakana gets what's on his mind. Don't worry, we didn't do anything. I can see from this dress here, you really did nice here. And they both start checking the dress and pointing out the mistakes that need to fixed. Marin in the back, thinking slowly, what is this? This can't be true. Why my heart beats is rising. I totally fall for Gojo-kun. And starts acting weird trying to relax, but her stomach makes a weird noise out of sudden. And both of them were looking at her. She feels so embarrassed and wished to be dead. They decided to have dinner. Marin got to taste Wakana's hand cook, she says. You can cook as well. Dude, are you a prince or something? That's a normal thing. I lost my parents when I was a child, so I had to learn. Oh, you are like me. My mom passed away a while ago, and dad had to travel for his work. I'm totally alone. Wakana and his grandpa get shocked by this, and when she shows them the fast food she orders most of the time, they have cringed vibes from this type of fast food. The grandpa says, are you okay? Can your health keep up with all this? Why you don't have your dinner here from now on? At the train station, Wakana's got Marin to the train in time. She calls him back suddenly. But when she looks him in the face she freezes and gathered the words. I will see you tomorrow, yeah, sure, goodbye then. She runs while still deep in her thoughts. On the train, her face is to the glass talking to herself. What's wrong with me today? Why can't I stand a normal talk now? She recalls Wakana's reply to his grandpa. We didn't do anything inappropriate. What if we do then? A couple of days later, it's raining heavily. A little girl is running trying to cover herself, and she arrives at Gojo's doll shop. Wakana's grandpa sees her and thinks she must be Wakana's friend, then invites her inside. She looks at him in silence, standing for a while. A while later, Wakana gets home from school. His grandpa was preparing to leave and tells him, one of your friends is waiting for you. Make sure you get her something to drink. And leaves the house, while Wakana's still thinking who it might be. Neri was with him a while ago. Suddenly he starts running inside thinking this might be a scammer. He reaches the bathroom door and opens it strongly with a serious face, but a short pink girl is in front of him, wiping herself out. Wakana doesn't know how to react. She gets angry and comes at him, but her leg slips, and she starts falling to the back, hanging in the air with a towel covering her. She hardly hits the ground trying to gather herself from the pain.
But she bite like Dimitrescu. My bitch's bitch gon' bring her bitch, that shit a triple threat. Niggas gonna call the doors and come and stepping on some necks. You trying to snake your fucking